Have you ever been haunted by the quiet thought, "There's more in me than the life I'm living"? You wake up each morning, go through the motions, and lie down at night with a storm of dreams still trapped inside you. Not because you're lazy, but because somewhere along the way you were taught to shrink, to silence your fire, to tame your hunger, but deep down a voice refuses to stay quiet. It whispers, "You were meant for more." This video is not just inspiration, it's an awakening. An awakening for the man who refuses to let comfort steal his potential, for the one who's tired of broken promises and shallow motivation. This is for the men who are ready to build, not just wish, to lead, not just follow, to rise even when the world tries to hold them down. Because the truth is simple, your dreams are not random. They are a signal, a map, pointing you toward the man you were born to become. And in this world of distractions and dead ends, you need more than willpower. You need principles. You need unshakable laws that ground you, guide you, and lift you. In this video, we will walk through 4 timeless laws that have empowered men across generations to transform dreams into reality and success into a legacy. From the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius to the unbreakable spirit of Frederick Douglass, we will draw from men who didn't just speak. They lived what they believed. And so will you. You'll learn how to build a vision so magnetic it pulls you forward through every storm. Why discipline is the highest form of self-mastery and how to sharpen it. How to become truly adaptable in a world that's constantly changing. And how a deeper sense of purpose can turn your struggles into stepping stones. These laws are not just advice, they're weapons for the man who refuses to stay average. So if you're ready to stop surviving and start dominating your path, then make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Because every man needs a tribe of strength and truth behind him. And if something in this video hits you deep, don't hold back. Drop a comment. Say what you feel. This is your place to grow. Let's begin the climb. Your future starts now. Chapter 1. The Law of Vision. The man who cannot see beyond today will be ruled by men who can. Have you ever walked through a day feeling like you were meant for more, but not knowing where you're headed? This is not laziness. This is a lack of vision, the silent killer of potential. Without vision, a man is reactive, easily swayed by noise, by urgency, by distraction. But a man with vision, he becomes unshakable, focused, magnetic. The law of vision is the first unshakable law of lasting success. Why? Because without a clear internal compass, you will live your entire life fulfilling someone else's dream. Working a job you hate, living in a place that drains you, surrounded by people who don't challenge you, all because you never defined your own direction. Vision is not fantasy, it's not vague wishing, it is a crystal clear picture of your future, seen with enough clarity to guide your actions today. The Stoics knew this. Seneca once wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." What he meant was this: life will throw storms at you either way, but only vision gives your suffering purpose. When you create a clear vision, something inside you awakens. You stop drifting, you stop blaming, you stop playing small, because now everything has meaning. Every action becomes either a step toward your dream or a distraction from it. So how do you build this vision? Start with brutal honesty. Look at your life, not how you wish it were, not how others expect it to be, but what it actually is. Ask yourself, what kind of man do I want to become? What does a deeply fulfilled life look like for me? What would I pursue if I had no fear, no doubt, no limits? These are not surface-level questions. These are confrontational. They require silence, reflection, and courage. But once you answer them, you begin to form your North Star, your personal definition of success. And here's the truth. The clearer your vision, the more powerful your energy becomes. Vision eliminates confusion. It breaks indecision. It burns away excuses. Suddenly, you're no longer asking, "What should I do?" You're asking, "Does this align with the man I'm becoming?" History remembers the men of vision. Alexander the Great, at 20 years old, had a vision so powerful it took him across continents. He saw an empire that didn't yet exist, and because he believed in it fiercely, others did too. He wasn't just a conqueror, He was a man possessed by purpose. But vision doesn't require armies, it only requires alignment. When your daily habits match your long-term vision, you start to generate momentum. That's when the impossible becomes possible. That's when people start asking how you change so fast, why you're glowing different, why you walk with presence. Vision transforms you from the inside out. But here's the warning. Vision without discipline is delusion. That's why this is only the first law. You must protect your vision, especially in a world designed to distract you. Guard it from small minds, from toxic environments, from anything that waters it down. You're not just watching this video for motivation. You're here because you feel that quiet pull towards something higher. And that feeling? That's vision knocking. Don't ignore it. Every time you wake up and move closer to the man you see in your mind, you become dangerous in the best way. You become the kind of man who can no longer be manipulated, no longer swayed, no longer stopped. Because now you're led by purpose, not pressure. And that's how dreams become real. So today, take a step. Close your eyes. Strip away what others expect. Forget what they told you was realistic. And ask yourself, what do I see when I picture my best life? Then write it down, speak it, own it. Because if you don't define your vision, someone else will do it for you, and they'll make sure it serves them, not you. Comment below. I see my vision clearly, and I walk toward it daily. Drop this below if you're done drifting and ready to build your life with intention. Chapter 2. The Law of Discipline. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Abraham Lincoln. Have you ever found yourself knowing exactly what to do, but still not doing it? You've set goals, made plans, promised yourself 100 times that this time will be different. But when it's time to act, something crumbles. You scroll, you delay, you break the promise. Again, that's not a character flaw, that's a crisis of discipline. And this chapter is your turning point. The law of discipline is not about rigid routines or punishing yourself. It's about self-respect. Real discipline is how a man proves to himself that he is worthy of his vision. Let's get this straight. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is eternal. You might feel fired up after a video like this, but what happens when the emotion fades? What happens when the work gets boring or life gets hard or no one is watching? That's when discipline either shows up or you disappear. And it starts with a simple truth. You will never rise above your habits. Your dreams don't come from what you intend to do. They come from what you consistently do. Every day you are casting a vote for the man you are becoming. Every skipped workout, every missed opportunity, every indulgence is not just a small mistake. It's a message. And the message is either I keep my word or I fold when it's hard. The Stoics understood this long before self-help books ever existed. Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly. In other words, greatness is not an event. It is a rhythm. A man becomes powerful not by one bold move, but by 1,000 invisible acts of discipline when no one's clapping. So how do you build discipline that actually lasts? First, shrink the battlefield. Stop trying to conquer everything in one day. Stop romanticizing huge overnight changes. Pick one thing, one non-negotiable action that aligns with your vision, and do it without compromise. A single act done daily without exception is more powerful than 10 resolutions broken in a week. Second, honor the process, not the feeling. Your feelings will lie to you. They will say, rest today, start tomorrow. They will say, you deserve a break, you've been good lately. But discipline doesn't ask for permission. It moves anyway, because real growth begins the moment convenience ends. Third, control your environment. Discipline is not just about willpower, it's about structure. A man who surrounds himself with chaos, temptation, and distractions is like a warrior entering battle with no armor. Clean your space, guard your time, choose your company, because what surrounds you will shape you. Let me remind you of something powerful. Frederick Douglass was born into slavery, denied education, beaten for trying to learn, and yet he taught himself to read. He studied by candlelight, he snuck into libraries, he outworked every obstacle, not because it was easy, but because his discipline was greater than his circumstance. If a man can rise from chains to become a voice that shook nations, and what excuse do we have? Discipline is not about intensity, it's about identity. You don't do hard things just to impress others. You do them because that's who you are now. You wake up early, you train, you read, you build, you delay gratification. Not because it's easy, but because the man you're becoming demands it. And something incredible happens when you honor your discipline for long enough. Your confidence becomes unshakable. You no longer fear failure because you know you can outlast it. You no longer fear setbacks because you've built the muscle to return stronger. Men today are trained to seek comfort, to chase dopamine, to avoid struggle. But you are choosing something higher. And in doing so, you separate yourself from 90% of the world, not through arrogance, but through action. Discipline is how you rise when no one claps. It's how you grow when no one believes. It's how you earn your power. So when life hits hard, and it will, ask yourself, will I move with my feelings or with my standards? Because your habits are not just actions, they are your legacy in motion. Comment below. Discipline is my daily armor. I act with purpose, not permission. Type it below if you're done with delay and ready to show up no matter how you feel. Chapter 3. The Law of Adaptability. It is not the strongest of the species that survives nor the most intelligent. It is the one most adaptable to change. Charles Darwin. Have you ever felt like life keeps shifting just when you start to feel stable? You finally get a plan together and the market crashes. You build momentum in your career and your company restructures. You find peace and suddenly something disrupts it all. It's easy to feel like you're constantly starting over. But what if I told you that life isn't testing your plans? It's testing your adaptability. The law of adaptability is the third unshakable law, and it's the one that separates men who talk about success from men who actually build it. The truth is this: the world owes you nothing. It will not wait for you to feel ready. It will not move at your pace, and it certainly won't apologize for changing. You either evolve or you decay. There is no neutral ground. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's not just poetic, it's strategic. Adaptability means turning obstacles into opportunities. It's the art of staying firm in who you are while adjusting how you move. Think about the men who shaped history, the real builders. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. He entered as a radical, he adapted, studied, evolved, and walked out not bitter, but wiser, ready to lead. He didn't let the harshness of life destroy him. He let it refine him. You will face situations in life that don't care about your vision or your discipline. Illness, loss, financial collapse, betrayal, delays. And when that happens, many men panic. They try to force the old plan to work in a new reality. But the adaptable man, he doesn't break, he bends, he flexes, he evolves. And because of that, he survives and thrives. Here's what most people get wrong. Adaptability is not weakness. It's not giving up on your goal. It's changing your strategy without abandoning your mission. You still want freedom? Adapt. You still want to build your own path? Adapt. You still want to lead, grow, win? Then you must become a man who can read the terrain and move with intelligence. Let's get tactical. 1. Expect disruption, don't fear it. When you build your mindset with the expectation that life will challenge you, setbacks no longer shock you, they sharpen you. You're not surprised when difficulty comes. You're ready for it. That alone gives you power over the average man who collapses at the first sign of adversity. 2. Reframe quickly. Your brain clings to old plans like safety blankets. But strength lies in the speed of your pivot. Ask, what can I learn from this? What's the new advantage? Where is the hidden opportunity? You'd be surprised how many blessings are disguised as problems. 3. Learn faster than you complain. Complaining is a comfort mechanism, but in a rapidly changing world, information is your edge. Learn, adjust, rebuild. The man who can update his beliefs and actions faster than his environment changes wins. Every time. Let me give you a real-world example. Thomas Edison, the man behind the light bulb, watched his laboratory burn to the ground, with years of work inside. What did he say as the fire blazed? Thank God all our mistakes are burned up. Now we can start again, fresh. That's adaptability, that's mental fortitude, and that's the kind of mindset that turns setbacks into breakthroughs. Now hear this. Adaptability is not just for survival. It's your advantage in 2025. The world is moving fast. Technology, culture, economy, everything is changing. And while most people panic or freeze, the adaptable man positions himself. He sees shifts as signals. He doesn't whine, he wins. But to do that, you must let go of your need for perfect conditions. You must detach from the illusion of control. You must fall in love with evolution, with becoming, refining, adjusting. You don't need a straight path. You need an unshakable mind. And when you combine that with vision and discipline, you become unstoppable. Because now, no matter what the world throws at you, you move with purpose. You pivot with power. You rebuild with calm. And that kind of man, that's the kind of man who not only survives, but leads in any era. Remember, adaptability is not about being passive. It's about being prepared. Comment below. I adapt. I evolve. I overcome. Comment below if you've decided to stop resisting change and start using it to rise higher. Chapter 4. The Law of Purpose. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Friedrich Nietzsche. Have you ever reached a point in life where everything felt heavy, but you couldn't explain why? Not tired from work, but from meaninglessness. Not burned out from effort, but from doing things that don't matter to your soul. That weight? It's not physical, it's spiritual. It's the cost of living without purpose. The final law, the law of purpose, is not just about goals, success, or motivation. It's about the core of who you are, because without purpose, everything becomes noise, and eventually that noise becomes suffering. A man without purpose is a man without roots. He drifts, he copies others, he chases temporary highs, money, validation, status, only to feel empty again. But a man with purpose, you can't break him, because he's not living for applause, he's not chasing trends, he's not asking the world who he is, and he already knows. Purpose makes pain meaningful. It turns suffering into sacrifice. It turns delay into discipline. It turns loneliness into training. Once you know why you're doing what you're doing, no setback can stop you, because now you're moving with intention, not impulse. Let's take a lesson from Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. While suffering in concentration camps, losing his family and freedom, he realized something that changed his life and millions of others. He wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." He watched men physically stronger than him collapse, while others who seemed frail lived on with fire in their eyes. Why? Because those with purpose, with something worth living for, endured the unimaginable. Frankl's purpose? To survive, to write, to teach the world about meaning. What's yours? You may not be in a physical prison, but many men today live in invisible ones. Cubicles, addictions, shallow relationships, fake goals. They wake up, perform, scroll, sleep, repeat. And deep down, they know they were built for more. But more doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. So how do you find your purpose? Step 1. Look into your pain. Purpose often hides inside the wounds you've tried to forget. What broke you? What shaped you? What kept you up at night when no one was listening? Within those scars are clues, because once you've healed from something, you're qualified to lead others through it. Your pain wasn't pointless. It was preparing you. Step 2, identify your gifts. What flows naturally from you? What do people seek your help with? Your purpose is often where your natural strength meets a real-world need. It doesn't have to be flashy. It has to be real. Some men were made to build, others to lead, others to protect, teach, or create. When you align your gifts with your values, purpose appears. Step 3, serve something greater than yourself. Selfishness is a dead end. But when your life becomes about something bigger than just your own gain, you tap into energy, focus, and courage you never knew you had. Purpose is power because it's not limited to the smallness of your ego. It transcends you, it outlives you. Let me remind you of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. He didn't march because it was safe. He marched because his life had meaning, and he knew it could cost him everything. His purpose wasn't comfort, it was change. He said, "If a man hasn't discovered something he will die for, he isn't fit to live." That's not a quote, that's a challenge. What is your life actually for? Because when you know that, you don't waste time, you don't waste energy, you don't waste potential. Everything sharpens, every moment matters, even your quiet mornings, even your small habits, even your toughest days. Purpose makes you dangerous to a world that wants you weak and distracted. It makes you rise early when others sleep in. It makes you walk alone when others follow the crowd. It makes you endure what others quit, because you're not running from pain, you're running toward meaning. And here's the secret most men never realize. Purpose creates joy. Not the cheap kind that comes from likes and compliments. The deep kind that comes from alignment, from knowing your life is not random, from knowing every step you take is building something that actually matters. Your success will fade, your youth will fade, but your purpose, that's eternal. So as you close this chapter, ask yourself honestly, what do I stand for? What am I building that will outlast me? Who suffers when I stay small? And who wins when I rise? Because this life is not a rehearsal. You have one shot, one voice, one mission. Don't waste it living someone else's story. Live on purpose, fight with purpose, build with purpose. Comment below, my purpose is my power. I live for something greater. Comment this below if you're no longer here to survive, but to lead, serve, and build with meaning.